And now it's time we look at the best shows of 2017. As I said in the last video, a lot of the shows that came out in 2017 were adaptations of something else, but a lot of them were really good, and we're going to take a look at some of them. So the usual disclaimer is these are new shows that came out in 2017 that had their premiere on either American television or on the internet. So there are going to be a lot of shows that were really good that are not going to be on this list, like Steven Universe, Rick and Morty, etc., because these are new shows. Now, keep in mind, I didn't get a chance to see everything that came out last year, so I'm limiting this list only to what I've seen. More than likely, something may have slipped under my radar, so if I leave something out, feel free to comment on it. Alright, let's start off with some honorable mentions. The first one is Super Mansion, that show on Adult Swim that deserves a lot more attention than it's getting. Another honorable mention goes to Legend Quest, a show that I really wanted to like a lot more than I did, but unfortunately, a few problems kind of kept it off the list. And finally, Castlevania the Animated Series on Netflix. This probably would have made the list had it been more than 4 episodes long, and we still don't know when we're going to get more of it. 2017 was not a very good year for web series. Alright, let's get into it. Number 5 is Tangled the Animated Series. See, not every animated series based on a movie needs to be bad. I like Tangled the movie, but I didn't expect an animated series based on the movie to be as good as this. In fact, it reminded me of back when Disney used to do animated series for their movies all the time. It has some really fun and endearing side characters, and I really like the animated style as well. In fact, when I learned why they made it in the style they did, I ended up liking it even more. There are a few things keeping this from being higher on the list though. For one, I think the show kind of lost track, or at least the first season, or actually I don't know where the show is in terms of that, but the beginning of the series kind of dragged a little bit because it started out that they were going to learn about where the power that Rapunzel had came from, and they kind of got distracted and did a whole bunch of other stuff, a bunch of filler things that were fun and fine enough, but they kind of started off big and they didn't really do a whole lot with it. Now, I did see a promo for the show recently saying that they're going to start getting into that. So I haven't seen that yet as of this video, but maybe the show will start improving at this point. But as of right now, it's just good. Number 5, good. Number 4 is Welcome to the Wane. And at this point, I think we can stop comparing this show to Gravity Falls. It has some really great lead characters, it has a good sense of humor, and as of this video, I think only 9 episodes have been out so far, and there is a lot going on in this show. In fact, enough to keep me watching. I want to see what's going to happen next. Sadly, it doesn't look like this show is getting a lot of exposure from Nickelodeon, because it's not SpongeBob, which is a shame because I really do recommend watching it, and hopefully we won't have to wait long for new episodes to come out. Number 3 is Big Hero 6, the animated series. It's a show that I wanted to do a Rob Watches on, but unfortunately I kind of lost track of time. The show picks up right where the movie left off, and it was really cool that they got almost all the voice actors to come back to reprise their roles. A couple were missing though. I did notice that TJ Miller wasn't the voice of Fred like he was in the movie. I guess he was working on more important things at the time. I like that they showed the whole process of how Hero rebuilt Baymax and how he's trying to live up to his brother. And I like that they brought in some cool villains. In fact, they brought in the big guy at the beginning of the movie that Hero faces off against as one of the villains. And I thought that was really cool. This show basically takes the good aspects of Tangled the animated series and that new Spider-Man animated series and puts it all together. And it turns out to be a really good show. If only the other two could live up to it. Number 2, OKKO Let's Be Heroes. This show had a really strong start. It was full of action, it was fun, it was wacky, it was kind of a love letter to action movies and shonen anime and video games and stuff like that. I love the characters in this. Many of them were very relatable. The voice acting was really good. I like the little storyline they started going for. And of course, it gave a salute to all the hardworking people dealing with customers all day in retail. Thanks, guys. Now, originally I was debating heavily if this was going to be number 1 or not. Unfortunately, the show kind of lost momentum after a while. There were a couple of episodes where they tried to cram in a ham-fisted message. Now, there's nothing wrong with having a good message in your show, but unfortunately, this show kind of does it in one of the worst ways possible. It treats the viewer like an idiot. I was also really disappointed in Mr. Gar. He was one of the most awesome characters in the show, and he was established as being one of the strongest, and they kind of turned him into a crybaby. Now, I don't mind that he's more complex than he seems. In fact, I'm really glad they did that, but when was the last time he did something cool? I mean, in episode 1, he dropped the big elbow from the sky. Why isn't he doing more stuff like that? So as much as I do like this show, and I like it enough to put it at number 2, and I do recommend people watch it whenever Cartoon Network decides it wants to show episodes, I want to see from this show moving forward more action, more adventure, more comedy, more video game stuff, more stuff like that. Less Steven Universe. You leave Steven Universe to Steven Universe. Okay, KO, you just go over there and be crazy. I want more cheese. And number 1, in case you haven't figured it out, Ducktails. You know, when I do these lists, I kind of like to give priority to new shows, not things that are reboots or adaptations. And that was kind of difficult this year, but then it occurred to me, Ducktails is a reboot of a good show that's also good. It's very rare that that happens. In fact, they even improved a few things about the original, like the inclusion of Donald Duck and Webby's new character. So I dare say that it's better than the original. Oh god, I feel sick. But in addition to the improvements, there were a lot of great things about it, like the voice acting. Kate Micucci as Webby is really good. And of course, David Tennant as Scrooge McDuck was just spot on perfect. The story they're building up with Magico was really interesting. I can't wait to see where that goes. I will say the show maybe slowed down just a little bit, but besides that, I really don't have too many other complaints. Other than it needs more Launchpad. We're going to need like 15 to 20% more Launchpad. And those are my top 5 animated shows of 2017. Leave a comment below and let me know what your favorite show of 2017 is. My name is Rob, and tune in next time when I do the top 5 animated movies of 2017.